It baffles me that people can be so stupid. Today we're talking about a brand who decided to take it upon themselves to, for some reason, in the weirdest way, let their opinion be known to a stranger. You'll see what I mean. Now listen, I want to say a few things before we get into this. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions. There's a right and a wrong way to do it. You know, I like to approach these things from a business point of view. Like, is this a good idea for any business to do, right? Or does it make sense for this business? Or why are you running a business when you're so incompetent? And today we're going to be talking about a situation between this user over on TikTok and an indie brand called AQ Cosmetics and the owner of the brand AQ Cosmetics. Now, for those of you who may not remember the whole e.l.f. and Matt Rife situation, I just want to put it here. I do have a video down below, so go and watch that if you want to. If not, this video may be a little bit out of context if you're unaware what happened. Now, let's get into this just before saying this, right? Whether or not you find Matt Rife funny is none of my business. It was a bad business decision for e.l.f. to use him. No matter what you think, no matter how funny you think he is or isn't, or was or wasn't, you can't be a brand. It doesn't make sense business-wise and in general. Let's take the heart and empathy out of this situation. It doesn't make sense business-wise, be an advocate for women, but then also partner with a man who jokes about beating women, right? That doesn't make sense. You can admit that. And you can be like, it was a joke. Okay, still, no matter what his joke was, it does not make sense business-wise, right? We can all admit that. It will be like me, I only ever wear the color black, right? And then me partnering with a brand that only make the color white and me being like, yeah, I just love what they stand for. You know what I mean? That's not an example on the same level, but to me, that's how much it doesn't make sense, right? It just doesn't make sense from a business point of view, no matter what your thoughts are on Matt Rife and his very overfilled face. So we all know that situation. I want you to watch this. So Father Lex put out this video, and on screen it says, at e.l.f. Cosmetics, Matt Rife, ? The guy who very vocally hates women. Bet. I will not be supporting you or promoting your products anymore. Father Lex, well within their rights to do so. It's up to you who you support, right? I have also chosen not to support e.l.f. anymore. Full stop. Or, you know, mainly for that reason, but also to me, a few reasons. If you're trying to rage bait people, I don't support brands that rage bait like that, especially as something so serious as domestic abuse. It's just not, and then to me, I'm like, okay, what mind frame are they in? Because that's a stupid, poor business decision, right? For some reason, the founder of the brand AQ Cosmetics decided to put under this video a comment that literally just says, shut up. Okay. All right. Weird to do it from your brand account, especially when you sell cosmetics and, you know, a lot of your followers are women. That's strange. You do you, I get. And of course, Father Lex has something to say about it. It's their platform. You can do whatever you want. Here you go.
For fucking real, but fuck some of the shit that's gone down with e.l.f. Cosmetics that's affected the average consumers like me and you. And more so, DV victims.
Literally, that's it. That's true, that's it. They say on screen, imagine being a cosmetics company telling consumers to shut up because they spoke out about e.l.f. partnering with Matt Rife. The caption says, at AQ Cosmetics, we don't support domestic violence in this house. No ma'am. Yes, absolutely. Now, I'm not sure exactly what in context this was said or what comment they were responding to, but AQ Cosmetics said this to Father Lex, talking down wild assumptions. I'm so sick of the cancel culture. Why is this the only thing you guys come up to every time something happens? Let's throw away. I'll never buy from this brand ever again. Stuff like that all the time. He probably does more for women in his real life than you could ever do. And as for me, I create cosmetics to simplify women's routine. What the fuck do you know about a woman's routine? Anyway. Making it easier. My mascara is literally the first ever lash safe formula. No, I don't know the rest of it. I don't even fucking care. Someone said underneath, you do realize you're representing an entire brand right now, right? How embarrassing for you, which I agree, it's very embarrassing. Now, there's a few things which I would like to point out in this comment because this response, because one, it's stupid. Let's talk about cancel culture. There has never been anyone who has truly been cancelled to a point where it was career, you know, ending, right? Let's think about the influencers, the online space, who have been cancelled by cancel culture. They still all very much have a thriving career. Now, I don't believe, and I'm quite harsh with people and brands. Brands can do something wrong and I will instantly knock it off. I'll be like, no, because when you think about brands doing something, it isn't just a quick mistake. It is a boardroom. It is a meeting. It is a number of experts. It is a number of professionals, people who specialize in advertising, people who specialize in this and that. So not just the e.l.f. situation. Any brand who does something that seems slightly fucked up, I'm like, a group of you spent months and months coming up with this? No, thank you. Advertising professionals not knowing what this situation is going to do in terms of its effects on people and the way it could be pursued, that's their job. Things like this can be done on purpose. Google's free too. So that's why I'm quite harsh with it. Also, we have so many makeup brands in the world right now. If we choose not to affiliate ourselves with a certain brand, if we choose not to use a certain brand, any products anymore from a certain brand, that's up to us. There's a million different options available. Wet n Wild, for example, instead of e.l.f. There's so many different options. So if somebody is being held accountable for their shitty actions, joking about domestic violence, a brand knowing this man has done that, because when you Google him or look slightly into him, which hopefully they did as somebody who they are using on their brand to associate with their brand, you can see that's what he jokes about, right? So if we're talking about cancelling them, no, that's not cancel culture. That's holding people accountable and making them realize the mistake they've made. The phrase cancel culture is so overused. If somebody is a racist dick, cancel them. If somebody is homophobic, transphobic, cancel them. If a brand owner is racist, cancel them. These people deserve it. I'm sorry, but they do. However, if somebody does something petty and everyone's like, cancel them, and all they've done is like, I don't know, stole an apple. No, come on now. Holding people accountable and speaking up for people's rights and people who may be against them is not cancel culture. Right? Come on now, let's be real. Why is this the only thing you guys come up with every time something happens? Let's throw it away. I'll never buy from this brand ever again. Because what else are you meant to do? I don't want that brand in my house. When a brand messes up and I see their product in my house, I feel icky. I don't want that. I don't want that in my house. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to pass it on to someone else. What do you mean? Why is that the only thing you do? I could do whatever I want with my products. It's not up to you. Stuff like that all the time. He probably does more for women in his real life than you could ever do. You are telling this woman that Matt Rife, when he jokes about domestic violence to all his male audience, that's doing a lot for women. This is weird. And as for me, I create cosmetics to simplify a women's routine. One, you don't know shit about a women's routine. All you do is make products. You make products. You make blush and you have mascara. What is more simple? And they're not anything outrageously different to anyone else. How is that simplifying people's routines? Anyway, let's get a little bit more into it. The owner did come out with this terrible apology.
1 week ago, this video showed up on my For You page mentioning the collaboration between e.l.f. Cosmetics and Matt Rife, the American comedian, to which I commented, "Shut up. I am so sorry for the hurt, pain, trigger, and disappointment that I have caused. I am so sorry for that. That was unnecessary, dismissive, and careless. That was mine and I regret it." But that wasn't the only thing that I said. After that, a thread started under my comment, and still not understanding the severity of the situation, I got back and forth into the replies and I commented this. Before writing this comment and being absolutely ignorant about it, I had no idea about Matt Rife's past comments about domestic violence and that he uses domestic violence as a joke against women. After reading all the comments and being educated about all of the situation by the public, I immediately realized that I had put myself into the wrong side of the conversation. For me, out of all these people to make those comments were deeply inappropriate, disappointing, triggering, inappropriate, and hurtful. Upon realization, I deleted the comment because I no longer stand with what I said. After that, I posted this written apology in an attempt to explain myself, and it truly missed the mark. I looked back at it and it was pure gaslighting and not an apology. Here I want to be very clear. I do not support Matt Rife's insensitive jokes about domestic violence, and I absolutely do not support making light of domestic violence. Domestic violence is real, sensitive, and a very serious issue. It's painful, triggering, and absolutely not something to ever dismiss or joke about. By defending him here in that comment, not knowing what he had done and that he uses abusive jokes about women, I was completely wrong and I deeply regret it. I take full responsibility and accountability for what I said. I should have done better, I should have known better, and I should have been more careful. I'm not saying this just for the sake of saying this, but this experience has truly changed my ideology, and I'm with the people when it comes to protesting, holding people and organization accountable for what the harm they cause. This has been a huge learning moment for me, and I'm grateful to the people that pushed me to see things differently. I don't want to end this by saying I'll move forward and do better. If this apology still has shortcomings, I'm ready to address and take accountability and acknowledgement for it even further. I'm open to reflecting, learning, and owning my mistakes, and I'm not running away from it because I truly care about this. To my people that have caused pain, hurt, and disappointment, I am so sorry that I let you down. I'm so sorry that the very boy that you have supported has let you down. I'm so sorry for that. I'm embarrassed that I sided with an abuser due to lack of information on my part. Ignorance is not an excuse, and I should have done better.
Let's talk about why this is such a terrible response in general, right? So the original post itself says, at e.l.f. Cosmetics, Matt Rife, the guy who very vocally hates women. Now, if I saw that and had no clue who Matt Rife was, who I actually didn't when I saw him, I just thought he was a bit of a douche. And when I found out people were angry, I Googled it. I Googled his name and put hates women. Matt Rife hates women. Matt Rife women. Use your fucking brain. So you saw this, a woman saying, the guy who is very vocal about hating women, and you thought, oh my God, let me stand up for him. Instantly let me stand up for him. By saying, shut up. Did nothing in your brain tell you, oh, this person is saying Matt Rife hates women? Also, I work in the beauty industry. Perhaps by now, I should be aware of the situation. Are you not clued up as to what's going on in the industry? Because this was posted a few days after. Are you not like, or do you just make products trying to shill products? Like, what's the deal? You should be clued up as to what's going on in the industry. Now, you could, by all means, skip past this and think, oh, whatever, she's just trying to cancel whoever. Before you make a comment, though, especially from your business account, is it not a good idea to think, I don't know this situation, I don't know who Matt Rife is, or maybe you do because you seem to think he does more for women than this person does. Clearly you don't know him enough, or you just think he's funny, which is really strange considering you claim your brand is to help women. Do you not think, oh, maybe I should go ahead and look into this? Because then I commented on that apology and I said, so why did you tell her to shut up in the first place? Did I miss that part? And he said, ignorance and impulsiveness. Had I known better, and I would have never been in this situation. Wish I did my research first off, why people were speaking up. Should have done better. I deeply regret it. To which then I responded, I don't think you understand my question. If you didn't know what the content creator was speaking on, what were you telling her to shut up about? You haven't answered that in any of your responses. Shut up, I put in quotes. What were you telling her to shut up about? And then there's some people who'll be like, oh, thanks for doing this. Thanks for your apology. And this person says, so you're saying that you told a woman to shut up about a subject that you had no knowledge of, and it was only after insulting basically her that you went and searched up Matt Rife and now you're sorry? Yeah, I'm not buying it. Yeah, I'm not either. And people are like, mistakes happen, but why are you not thinking about this in a calculated way? Okay, so I have that whole apology right in front of me as well, and I just want to read you through it because it's pretty dire, I'll be honest with you. So the first page says, I landed myself in controversy. I recently left a comment under a viral video about the Matt Rife e.l.f. discussion. My comment was directed at the culture of constant online cancellation, not in support of any individual or brand, and definitely never to dismiss domestic violence or those impacted by it. Accusations and allegations. Since then, my comment has been misunderstood as supporting behaviour for domestic violence or views that I personally and professionally stand firmly against. I have been called a misogynist, woman hater, and that I support domestic violence on women, which is a blatant lie. Domestic violence is not a joke, and I deeply regret that my words left room for misinterpretation. The joke that Matt Rife made was about domestic violence being funny. That's why this doesn't make sense. domestic violence is not a joke. So if you knew that already and you knew Matt Rife made those kind of jokes, or you didn't know Matt Rife made these kind of jokes, and there's a domestic abuse survivor posting content about it saying they won't use e.l.f. anymore because of that reason, but you know domestic abuse isn't funny, make it make sense. Accountability. No excuses. I shouldn't have made that comment in the first place. From any account, let alone from a business account. My comment was wrong. It was careless, dismissive in tone, and not reflective of my values. I can't take back what was written, but I can take accountability, learn from it, and do better moving forward. Bandwagons and cancel culture. My comment came out of frustration. For what? Not towards survivors, not towards DV awareness, but towards the culture of cancelling everything and everyone at once. So you mean the brand that was involved in hiring someone who jokes about domestic violence, and then the person who made the joke about domestic violence? Sure. It feels like the internet has made cancelling the first response whenever a brand or a person makes a mistake. And yes, that frustration has got the better of me. I spoke carelessly. But I want to be very clear, my words were never in support of domestic violence, nor dismissing its seriousness. Domestic violence is real, it destroys lives, and is never a joke. My words were never in support of domestic violence, nor dismissing its seriousness. So you know how serious it is. So what about you would not want e.l.f. Cosmetics or Matt Rife to be held accountable in this situation? What about that frustrates you? That you understand how serious domestic violence is, yet you're like, oh, shut up, this is cancel culture, when they have employed somebody, a makeup brand who is known for empowering women, charities and all. They employ somebody who makes jokes about domestic abuse, domestic violence. What about you, and whether you think it's funny or not, what about you, as somebody who knows that domestic violence isn't funny, thinks that the cancel culture, your view on cancel culture, is more important than this person's opinion on domestic violence? That you need to go ahead and say, shut up. To those who just found me, to the 200,000 plus new people who saw me for the first time through this drama, do I not deserve the chance to share my side before conclusions are made about me? It's very clear. It's very clear. And what you said afterwards makes it very clear that you clearly don't do your research or care enough about a certain subject that you think is so important that you would go ahead and do your research. I don't know who I am, my story, or what I'm doing differently with this business. What are you doing differently with? Who cares? Who cares? You have done something which is very much one-sided, and even after your reasoning and excuses, still very much you haven't said much. You know what I mean? The shut up comment was never to silence the creator or take domestic violence lightly. Do you know what shut up means? It means to cease talking, to not make any more noise, to shut. How else do you mean it? In fact, it was not about any of this. The regrettable comment was on the cancel culture being the first response to any mistake anyone does online, and people jump to cancel them without hearing their side of the story. We do not need Matt Rife's or e.l.f.'s side of the story. We already know why we're angry at this situation. We already know why people are potentially angry at this situation. You can't be so inhuman to not understand that even if you find him funny, there may be people who don't find his jokes funny because they have been through the experiences that he is joking about. You do not own a whole business for women and think that way, surely. There's nothing, cancel culture is nothing about this, has got nothing to do with this. This situation should not trigger you so much and your views on cancel culture that you make this comment on this person in particular on their content. That's crazy. The forgiveness we ask from God for our own mistakes is the same grace we should try and extend to others. I'm not religious, so that doesn't make any sense to me. Why I deleted the comment. I deleted my comment because I regretted it. Keeping it up would only continue to hurt people and create more misunderstanding. Now that we agree on. This is not about, not the misunderstanding it. This is not about running away, attention, or marketing. It's about responsibility. I realized I was wrong. I realized it was wrong and I wanted to correct it. Deleting it was my way of saying I don't believe in these words and they shouldn't have been said. Fair enough. A personal note. I know this situation would never have grown if I hadn't commented in the first place. That's on me. I take full responsibility. Good. Moving forward, my focus is where it has always been, building this brand with love for the art of beauty, making women feel heard, confident, and celebrated. You just can't say that anymore. You just can't say that anymore. I'm sorry. I also want to thank the creator for redirecting some of the hate and reminded people to be kind in the comments. Thank you to those who chose kindness, who gave me the chance to explain, and who reminded me that growth always comes from hard lessons. This person made a comment which I found very true. Of course you did not realize the sensitivity of a matter. Let women protest for something they go through. Come on now. You cannot tell victims how to react. The shut up was enabling the problematic behavior. Domestic violence is way bigger than your cancelling brand's concern. There you go. The brand is going to be okay. Trust me. Like I said in the beginning, no one truly gets cancelled, but not the women. But anyway, I hope you do realize the sensitivity and take genuine accountability. And this is the thing, right? You're always going to get those people who, someone like me will make a video like this, and then some like person who is unable to think for themselves in the comments will be like, I'm going to use it even more now because of this, because you're too woke. No, it's not. I'm going to put this plain and simply. A man beating up a woman and me being angry about it isn't being woke. It's being fucking normal. It's being really fucking normal. And to not like any brands who in any way stick up for that or can't even think for 1 second that why shut up on this person's content might be a bad thing to do, that angers me because it's stupidity. It is stupid. Right? So that pisses me off. So for those people like, I'm going to use e.l.f. even more. I'm going to do it like, okay, good. If you are that weak, that people having compassion for others and being angry at a brand for trying to, one, enrage people on purpose, if that's what they've done, or two, have been so stupid that they could not realize why this would enrage people, and then go on to say that the actual, what's it called? Advert was a success and you believe it, you're stupid. I'm sorry, but you're really uneducated and ill-informed. To then be like, I'm gonna buy e.l.f. even more now. It's like, okay, you do something because you like being treated as an idiot, whether that's from a brand, whether that's from somebody being like cancel culture. Like, come on now. I feel like to make an apology properly, you have to give some context as to why you did something. I did this wrong. The reason I did this was because what? I was uneducated about it isn't a reason. There isn't a reason why you initially said shut up to somebody when they literally had in on screen in their video the guy who very vocally hates women. Which then you follow up with, as for me, I create cosmetics to simplify women's routine. Do you see the thing? Do you see? Like, does this make sense? What would make a great apology or taking accountability is to explain in the first place, what about you as a man thought it would be great to go, as anyone, but especially as a man in this situation, go onto somebody's content from your makeup brand's account and say, shut up. What was happening there? Not just, oh, I was misinformed. You weren't informed at all, so you can't be misinformed before you inform yourself. If you had looked all this up and still had the same opinion, yes, you would be greatly incorrect and a bit of a dick. But at least stand by what you said so we all know who you are. This is like some makeup brands where it comes out at the owner's like extremely homophobic. I'm like, listen, you do you. I'm not as ignorant enough to think that we all live in this perfect world where no one's going to hate me or, you know, people aren't homophobic. But I won't spend my money on you. I won't spend my money with you. At least if this is a way you think, just stick by it. I'm not saying it is, but you know what I mean? You cannot be misinformed on something if you have not clearly bothered to look up the information beforehand. I was misinformed. No, you did not bother to see why this was happening. I don't think you didn't know the situation. As I said, you are You are a makeup brand. Are you unaware of what's going on in the makeup industry? I don't think so. I think you knew exactly what was going on, why people were angry, but that was still your thing to say shut up. This is not a good look for any business in any way. I think it's really ridiculous, and I think we need to hold brands accountable and the owners. It's not cancel culture. It is a warning to anybody who may Google this brand, maybe come to YouTube and look up this brand, that the person who owns this brand, I feel, in my personal opinion, not factually, perhaps doesn't have the best interest of women in mind. Just saying. And listen, I know you follow me on Instagram because there's the follow back button there. So if you see this video, perhaps you would like to elaborate on where the shut up came from in the first place. Perhaps answer questions that people have for you correctly and actually take responsibility and let us know how you feel that isn't from a poorly written script. That's all I'm saying. Don't be making this fake standpoint of like, I make women's life easier with cosmetics that look like every other cosmetics in terms of their packaging, and that's not making life easier. No one's life is harder because of their makeup, you know what I mean? That's a really strange thing to say. You know, your makeup isn't going to make someone's routine easier when they can buy stuff that's very similar to what you have. So let's not do this like virtue signaling of, yes, I make women's life easier, when you're looking at a woman's post and saying shut up without even giving them the benefit of a doubt and doing the most basic research before you comment on something that is happening on the industry that you are trying to be in. This just made me really, really angry. So yeah, all right. Let me know your opinions down below. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.